Hey, what's going on, Star Citizen fans? It's your boy Raptor Spiritus, and I am back with another one for you guys. Today, we're going to go over a few tips and tricks that you can use to hopefully save that inventory of all that loot that you've been looting this whole time in the previous patch as we start making our way into 4.3.2. Now, I'm no stranger to inventory disappearing, and I'm sure a bunch of you are not a stranger to that either. But hopefully there's a few things that we can go over that possibly will help figure out a way to keep everything you've worked so hard for. Now, I've consulted a couple people, and one of which, FC, aka Fried Chickin, you know who he is, the biggest bird in the verse, had threw some tips my ways that I can share with you guys to hopefully keep you guys from losing anything when the new patch drops. Now, as we all know, who knows when that patch is going to drop? It could be Wednesday, more than likely it'll probably be Friday, because they have a bad habit of wanting to release a patch on a Friday, which means it's a limited amount of time that they have over the weekend to fix anything that is broken. So I'm hopefully gunning for Wednesday when they're going to release the patch, because it'll give them time to fix any issues, as CitizenCon is supposed to air on Saturday, and the last thing they want is to have things broken and not working for such an event. So I'm going to go with probably Wednesday or Thursday. So that leaves only about 2 to 3 days for you guys to get your affairs in order with your inventory to hopefully keep you from losing your stuff. Starting off, one of which, everybody has loadouts for their ships. They have all the guns they want that they've either bought, they've stolen from, or even salvaged if it was legitimate. So one of the tips that I have learned to use is that when it's time for the patch to drop, beforehand obviously, not when it already drops, I will take all the weapons that matter to me and I will take them off the ships and put them in the inventory. So the reason for this, which is almost the same concept for anything else that I'm going to talk about on this video to try to save your inventory, is because apparently they have a replication layer, and when there are things that aren't being used, it sits at the bottom of that layer, which unfortunately when the patch drops and it refreshes the replication layer, sometimes ends up losing the things that are the most unused. So for this thing, what you could do, like I do, is that I remove all my ship weapons and then I leave them in the inventory. Now, one of the tips that I have also heard is that if the weapons for the ships are in your inventory already, you can put them all on a elevator to bring them up and then bring them back down, which apparently is supposed to refresh it in the replication layer so it sits higher and not lower as an older item that's in the replication layer. So I like to do this, and I've had a lot of success with doing this. And so I don't know about you guys, but attritions are not cheap these days, and I'm gonna tell you, doing them size 5s be breaking the bank. So I'm trying to get it where I can get it, especially when I go to outposts and I see them laying around, or their ships that had them on there that have been destroyed or just left abandoned. So there's that for ship weapons and loadouts. This also applies to any major components that you might want to keep, whether you loot goblin them from facilities or other events. I would highly recommend the same thing. Put them in the inventory if they are on a ship, and then maybe even bring them up and then back down to guarantee that they are going to stay at the top of the list in the replication. Now, moving towards ships that you have gained in the game, I apologize, through buying them, or if you got them from any of the events. So what you're going to do is you're going to, number one, make sure the ship is retrievable. Do not leave it in claim. If it's somewhere else, like on a station somewhere or anything like that, make sure you reclaim it to a home area. Now, all these things are going to apply for the home area, which is any of the major planets in Stanton, or even in Pyro, the 3 stations that you can spawn to when you first start the game. So what you're going to do is make sure that each ship can be claimed and retrieved in any of these home locations. And then you're going to bring that ship up, even if you don't use it very often. If it's something that you've gained through one of the executive hangars or anywhere else, I would recommend doing this, because I know you guys grind real hard for them things, and the last thing you want to do is lose it. So my recommendation is to, number one, as I said, make sure you are on a home planet or station in Pyro. Second of all, make sure it is retrievable. Retrieve this and then bring it up on the service elevator that brings up the ships in your hangar. So when you do this, then give it a second. Now you can also try to turn it on and interact with the ship a little bit. That might help so it actually is being used. But then you can bring it back down and put it back in your inventory, and it should be safe when the next patch drops. And then lastly, I will talk about your weapons and armor. Now, I've seen people complain about weapons and armors going missing during patches plenty of times, over and over. Me particularly, I have only one set of armor that really I care the most about, that I had to grind for. We all know what this is. That is the ASD Geist Light Armor. Yeah, that beautiful thing. Man, I tell you what, if CIG dropped the patch and that set of armor went missing, I would be out of my mind, because it took so much to get that in the first place. So my recommendation for this is, and this is what I do, is I will wear the armor and then I will put it back in inventory around the time before the new patch drops. Again, this is doing the same difference, where it is basically refreshing the item in the replication layer so that it is at the top. So hopefully that will make sure that any armor or any FPS weapons that you have gained through any of the challenges or missions or just looting around, it will make sure that you will keep them for the next patch. Now, lately, I will say this, CIG has been doing a better job of, when they do drop patches, even ammo is still there in the inventory. So it's getting better nevertheless, but still you do want to do your due diligence at the end of the day. Because let's face it, if you're a loot goblin like me and you pick up everything you see on the ground, even if it's in space or even if it's on a ship that someone just left hanging around that walked away for a hot second, I'm coming to get it and I want it. And I will hoard it drastically in my inventory. Really, and I do mean really hoarding, as I go through my inventory and I'm like, why do I have so much stuff? And it's always the you never know type situation. So that is pretty much all I have on that preparation for the incoming patches for 4.3.2 to save your inventory that you worked so drastically hard for. So try these tips. Let me know what you think. If you've heard anything else, please drop it in a comment. If you have any other ideas or helpful hints for the community, I'd definitely love to hear them, because hey, we are all citizens in this verse and we just try to get it like a squirrel trying to get a nut. Can I get an amen? So without further ado, it's your boy Raptor Spiritus. You guys stay safe out there, and I will see you in the verse, hopefully with all your inventory.